All right, so the last episode I did the ham bone soup, and that is from a whole light eating kind of vibe for January. After the holiday season and the heavy eating that we would usually do, I like to take it light in January. So we're still in January, the 31st of March right now. You know where this go, the endless January. So I had some little odds and ends in the fridge and I want to throw something together. I was going to do a salad, but if I had to be honest with all it, I really don't like to do salads as a recipe because I find that it's almost like cheating. You really don't have a recipe for salad. Salad is cut up whatever veggies and things you want and throw it in a bowl and eat it. So what I'm gonna do is make some tuna wraps. I have some tuna in the cupboard. I had some odds and ends in the fridge. So I'm gonna throw together a nice little tuna wrap, a quick little something you could put together for a quick dinner or a quick lunch. So let me get into it one time. To start things off, I'm gonna make the dough for our flour wraps. And this is a recipe that I already have on the site and on the channel. I made some flour tortillas. I think it was fish tacos. Yeah, I think that was the recipe. So there's a recipe I already have that I'm just gonna do like half the recipe because we're not going for much here. I'm just gonna make about 6 wraps. Starting off with a tablespoon of vegetable shortening, going in with half a cup of hot water. And I'm using hot water so that I could melt the vegetable shortening. It was in the fridge. Adding a pinch of salt, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Add in a half cup of flour again to make it 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour in total. So you just want to bring this together until it forms a dough, and then turn it onto your work surface. And this is not like bread that you're making. It doesn't require a whole lot of kneading. So you don't need no gluten development for this. So as soon as it comes together into a smooth ball, then you'll be ready to go in terms of leaving it to rest for like 20 minutes or so. So again, no set of heavy kneading. And if you find that, the dough a little sticky, don't be afraid to apply a little bit of flour and continue working it. And of course, if you don't want to go through this step, you can just buy some wraps in the grocery and cut down on the prep time for this. But, where's the fun in that? So, as you can see here, it only took about a minute or so for it to come together into a smooth ball. So yeah, once it comes together smooth like a grapes, shout out to Natasha Cross. That one was for you, smooth like a grapes. Yeah, that is it. So, back into the bowl. Gonna cover this and let it rest. And while it resting, I'm gonna work on prepping the other ingredients for our tuna wrap. All right, so for the salad part of this tuna wrap, I'm just using the little odds and ends that I had in the fridge. So I have some cucumber here. And really and truly, this part is not a part where you need to stick to what it is I do in here. You could literally choose whatever little veggies and thing you want to add to your wrap. I kind of feel like I'm cutting these too chunky, I'll cut these a little smaller. I'm just thinking about, the bite, biting into a wrap. Those might be a little chunky for a wrap. When you're cooking and you're prepping stuff, it's not just throwing everything together, wish-wash, in a wishy-washy kind of way, but thinking about the eating experience too. So yeah, I was cutting it into these little chunks, but when I think about having to, wrap this up and then bite into it, I think having big chunks of cucumber as part of the bite would be, at least for me, slightly off-putting. So, just kind of go back in and cut these up a little bit. at least the real chunky ones. All right, I have some celery here as well. Using celery because, again, this is what I had in the fridge. But if you have, you know, like shadow benny, anything like that, you could use that. But we're going with what we have. And we're using the whole celery. We're not, you know, throwing away any part of it. So using the leaves and the stems. To get the stems, you know, in a way that I think would not make them off-putting again in the salad, is to kind of cut them down into strips here, like so. Because you don't want huge chunks of celery in the salad. Yes, you're going for different textures, but none of the textures should be offensive, you know, or off-putting. It should all be complementary. So cut them down like this, and then get them in a line, and this is where your knife skills will come into play. You want to cut them into thin strips, so, or thin pieces. Just gonna give the leaves a chop as well. You want to chop them finely. I have some purple onion here. I don't know why people just call this red onion, because, I mean, you have to be colorblind or something. I mean, look at this. This is purple, right? Unless I colorblind. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments, you know, what you just call this. Is this purple or red? Purple to me. Adding some pimentos and some garlic to the party. So just cut out the stems here. And I have some black olives here that I'm just gonna slice into rounds. And just have a carrot here that I'm gonna add as well. Just because I had them in the fridge and I don't want them to go to waste. So yeah, I think a carrot could be a nice addition to this as well. I'm just gonna use a box grater and grate it. And the technique in using a grater is not to be sliding the item up and down the grater. No. Down, lift, down, lift, down, lift, down, lift. That is the proper technique of using a box grater. Not sliding it up and down the grater like this. No, 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 no. That is not how you use a grater. And I have some rough skin lemon here because we need a little lemon juice, a little acidity up in there to flavor up our tuna salad. Just gonna squeeze it into our cup. So to our veggies, I'm gonna add 2 tins of tuna in chunks, or tuna chunks in water, sorry. Gonna add salt to taste, with a pinch of black pepper as well, a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, and I'm gonna add some mayo as well. It's optional, you don't have to add mayo, but I added mayo. About 2 to 3 tablespoons. All right, so I'm just gonna give this a taste. See if we need to add any additional salt or anything. All right, no additional salt or any other seasonings needed. This is perfect. We're good to go with the tuna salad. All right, and the next thing I'm gonna add to this is watercress. Now let me tell you something. This was a staple growing up. Every Sunday, as part of the Sunday lunch, you know your mother gonna put a side of watercressels on your plate. I just call it cressels. I don't know if all else call it cressels too, but I just say watercressels or watercress. Cut off the tops like this. I'm gonna use this part of it. And I wouldn't throw this away. This is something that could end up in a smoothie. So definitely don't waste the watercress. You could blend this up and throw it in your little smoothies in the morning for, you know, health and strength. But I'm gonna put it in a bowl and I'm gonna give this a wash. All right, so I'll rinse this out, give it a wash, and I mean, this ready to go as is. You don't have to add anything to this. I mean, it's watercress. We all know what watercresses taste like. You know, it have that very nice, fresh, almost kind of peppery, I would say, taste. And to me, this does remind me of arugula. So if you could eat arugula, you could eat watercress. Don't let your palate be too fancy to be eating arugula and saying you don't like watercress. Watercress is we Trini arugula. So yeah, one of these days I'm going to throw this on a pizza and see what it's saying. But yeah. Don't hate on the watercress. The watercress, show it much love, much love. All right, let's move on. All right, so now to deal with the dough, it's gonna flour my surface a little bit. So we're not gonna make huge wraps. So the portion of the dough that I putting out would be about the size of a golf ball, or that kind of size. If you want to go for smaller or bigger, it's all preference. But I think this size is good for me. So yeah, about a golf ball size. I would say like about 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter. And we wanna use the technique of pushing the dough onto itself, pulling it for it to form a tight skin, like so, and then pinching it so that we get a tight skin forming, and that's how you prepare your dough for rolling out. All right, so we have our flour tortillas or our wraps rolled out. So now it's just to cook them off. You want to get your pan nice and hot. Just place your flat bread or your wrap or your roti, whatever you want to call it. All the same thing. Place it down onto your pan. And these don't take long to cook at all. As soon as it starts to puff up, you want to flip it over, and that'll take about, I would say about 30 seconds to 45 seconds at most. So as soon as it starts to swell, flip it over. And as you can see, it only took less than a minute for this to cook. And one important thing is to have your foil or a bowl ready so that once you place it into your bowl or your foil, you kind of wrap it up and seal it up for it to kind of steam. And that is what's going to keep your wraps from drying out and becoming brittle. So you want to just kind of seal it in there, kind of seal it in the heat, and allow it to kind of steam. You could use a cloth as well to do that, but I like how the foilers work. Okay, so the moment I've been waiting on for this entire video, and that is assembling the wrap. Just gonna take out one of these bad boys, place it down like so, and at this point is how much tuna you want in your wrap. Add in some of the watercress, and that's gonna give it a nice bite, nice freshness in there. A little bit of pepper sauce. I'm gonna try my best to roll this up into a wrap without making too much mess. And let me tell you, my mouth watering already, Jed. I'm just gonna bite in, dig in one time. Perfection. It's real nice. The combination of flavors in here real nice and real complementing each other. The onion, the garlic, the celery, the watercress, tuna of course, the little bit of lemon inside there, lemon juice, salt and black pepper, the olives, everything, the carrots, everything that's working together to create this real lovely combination of flavors. This tuna wrap is a winner. And the thing is, you don't have to do a wrap. You can just do it as a salad and eat it as is, you know. So yeah, definitely you want to try this one out. This one is one for the books. So truth be told, most of the effort in putting together this tuna wrap is in making the wraps themselves and I guess just prepping the ingredients. But other than that, there's an easy thing to put together. If you don't want to go to the trouble of making the wraps from scratch, again, you could buy it in the grocery and, you know, assemble this in two-twos. And again, the combination of flavors, real winning. So this is definitely a recipe to try. If you like this recipe, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and give it a share. And if you do try it, post your photos to social media and tag us in it. We'd love to see them. And a link to the full recipe will be posted in the video description. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.